Hey guys, Steve here from the Steve's Tech Channel. So I had the OnePlus One for a while now, and I did a couple videos on it. Check those out in the link description below. And my full review is coming soon, but I wanted to do at least one versus before I actually release it. And this is actually probably best versus ever. These are the two best phones that can be compared, and there's a couple of reasons why, but one of them is the price of both of these phones is so close. The Nexus 5 is a little more expensive, but it still doesn't compare to the full price that you pay for a S5 or a iPhone 6 Plus. And to put in perspective, the iPhone 6 Plus off contract 64 gig is around $1,000. For that price, you can buy almost 3 OnePlus One, and both of them have the idea that you get a lot for the price that you pay. So both of these phones are similar in specs. The OnePlus One, although is marginally ahead, the OnePlus One has a 5.5-inch 1920 by 1080p IPS display with a 401 PPI. It's rocking the Snapdragon 801 processor clocked at 2.5 GHz with 3 gigs of RAM. And it comes in two storage options, 60 and 64. Has a 13 megapixel rear facing camera and a 5 megapixel front facing camera. And it has a huge 3100 mAh battery. The Nexus 5 on the other hand has a 1920 by 1080 5-inch display. It's rocking a Snapdragon 800 processor clocked at 2.26 GHz, 2 GB RAM. It only comes in 16 and 32 GB, has an 8 megapixel rear facing camera with optical image stabilization, and a 1.3 megapixel front facing camera. And it has the dreaded 2300 mAh battery. Both of these phones don't have any SD card expansion. The OnePlus One costs $350 for the 64 gig, and the Nexus 5 costs $400 for the 32 gig. I don't do benchmarks anymore when I run a versus of two phones that are nearly the same, because nowadays most phones are fast, and I stopped really looking for what's the fastest phone because they're all really fast enough. So what I do look for is the screen. And again, that goes to the OnePlus One. Now, even though the Nexus 5 has a higher pixel density than the OnePlus One, the One has enough pixels to not even notice it, and it still has an awesome big display that you can actually use. Now, you would think with the bigger display, the battery life would suffer, but OnePlus actually put in a 3100 mAh battery, making it awesome. And with CyanogenMod in the mix, they just make it last a full day. In fact, more. You could probably use this for 2 days with conservative use. I had no trouble using this a full day at all. That's a lot better than what I can say about the Nexus 5's battery, which is just horrible. There's no way you can finish a full day on the Nexus 5. Now, camera-wise, the OnePlus One does win again with a 13 megapixel f2.2 aperture camera. It does take amazing shots, and it does record 4K. In fact, it allows you to record two versions of 4K, and you can also choose the codec that you want to record in. The only thing that I feel the OnePlus One is lacking camera-wise is OIS. Some shots, because I do have a shaky hand, do come out a little bit blurry, and that's never a problem I had with the Nexus 5. Now, taking the quality aside for a second, the camera app for the Nexus 5 is just pure horrible. Now, some people like it, some people hate it, but I just hate it a lot. It's not simple, it's not easy to use, it's just horrible, it sucks. There's a lot of settings that you can do on the OnePlus One, and it's also a lot easier to use. Simply switching between modes, you can just swipe up and down. So I do have to give CyanogenMod props because they actually made a camera software that's actually easy to use, and if I could say, it's comparable to Apple, almost, which is actually hard to beat. The next thing I want to talk about is the feel in the hand, which again will go to the OnePlus One. It's a bit heavier than the Nexus 5, but I really like holding it in my hand. If you watch my unboxing, when I first held it in the hand, it felt very weird. But I guarantee you, in the next hour or so, you're gonna start loving it. It's amazing. It makes it so awesome, and it's not slippery at all. Now, the Nexus 5 isn't meant to have a lot of gimmicks. It's meant to run the latest version of Android and run it good. And granted, you could literally run almost everything on the One on your Nexus. But it's really nice to see such a feature-packed phone so close to stock Android and run good. And I really have to say good job, CyanogenMod. And if you want to see a couple of those features, check out my top 11 features of the OnePlus One, which is right below that like button. Now, versioning the OnePlus One by the Nexus 5 may seem a bit unfair because the Nexus 5 is a bit old by technology standard. So it would be best to compare it to the Nexus 6, but I won't be buying the Nexus 6, and let me tell you why. I love the Nexus series and I always will, but Nexus phones in general always have a couple quirks, whether it be the battery life, camera issue, or its speaker. Now, they did sort of fix that with the Nexus 6, but they did higher the price. I feel as though I get a phone just as good as the Nexus 6, but half the price. And this time, I finally don't have to say you can't really complain because of its price. That's because I have nothing to complain about. I really have to say, awesome job OnePlus and CyanogenMod. I really did hate the invite system, but now that I have your phone, I love it. So that's the video, guys. Stay tuned for the full review. Stay subscribed. The subscribe button is below that like button. hit that like button. Comment telling me what you thought, your ideas on the versus. Will you be buying the Nexus 6 versus the OnePlus One? Thanks again for subscribing, guys. You guys are awesome subscribers. Stay tuned for more videos. And Steve here from the Steve Tech channel. Peace out.